The Baily Hancock Show is a podcast that helps people figure out how to make big career moves with small steps. What is that process, and can you give us a story on anyone you've helped do this process?
Yeah, so the podcast and my online course and the workshops I teach are all under this one-year career umbrella. And the whole purpose of it is to help people really figure out how to make a big move with small steps. And it isn't about restarting your career every year, quitting your job and getting a new one every year. That would be insane. And I did that for a little while, and it's not sustainable. What it's about is figuring out how to set your sights on something that you want, whether it's a promotion at your current job, a whole new job, a new title, starting a new product within your business, whatever it is, getting a boyfriend or girlfriend, moving to a new city, it could literally be anything. How do you take that big goal and break it up into a ton of teeny tiny little steps and then break that across the entire year? Because most of us are pretty good at setting our sights on something big. What most of us are bad at is actually taking the steps necessary to get there, because it's work and nobody likes the work part, right? We like dreaming big and then being like, okay, I'm ready, and then not actually taking those steps. So the podcast is really focused on talking with people who have done that successfully time and time again in their career, as well as career experts who can speak to the various pieces that come into play. So whether it's writing a great resume that's going to get you noticed, working with a recruiter to help find jobs, working with a career coach or an improv coach to help you pitch yourself better in interviews, I really try and have people on who can help support that process. In terms of people who have done this, it happens all the time, everywhere. I have a friend who just got a brand new job. She had been working in fashion for her whole career, so about 12, 13 years now, and never liked it, not even in the beginning. But she had gone to school for that, and she felt like, well, this is what I picked, so I need to just deal with it. And literally, since college, I've been like, you can choose something else. And she's like, nope, this is what I've chosen. I'm like, okay. And it wasn't until I could see that she was open and ready to make a change that I was like, you have other skill sets that are transferable to something that you might be better suited for that you actually like. So we kind of thought about it a bit, and we picked out the parts of her job that she actually really liked, that she'd want more of, and looked at the pieces that she definitely wanted to get rid of. And that's a big part of this one-year career, is taking stock of what's working and what isn't working. And then of the what's not working, how much of that is in your control? Can you change any of this? And the things that you can, you start to put those on your list, right? And then we think about all the things she needed to learn, all the people she needed to connect with, and the things she needed to do to make this switch happen. So I call that your learn, connect, do list. And that can be the one thing you do in this whole process, and it'll still be super beneficial, because what you're doing there is, if she wanted to go from fashion to, she ended up getting into partnerships at a nonprofit, we looked at those two distances, right? The distance between the two, and we're like, okay, what are all the steps in between these two moves? What can you do? So what do you need to learn? Do you need to go back to school for something? Who do you need to connect with? Who do you need to know in this industry to get you a gig? I ended up having a friend who posted a role of a friend of hers that I gave to her. So this was like 5 degrees of separation, but it was great because it was still a referral, right? And referrals are 4 times more likely to get hired at a job than non-referrals. 4 times, which is huge. And 70% of people find their jobs through networking. So that goes back to the collaborating with your community, by the way. But so she was able to find this job that happened to check off those boxes that she and I had looked at together. And the great news for her was that distance between those 2 jobs wasn't that big of a gap. So she didn't have to start over. She took a teeny tiny pay cut that is only because this is a startup. She'll make more. It'll eventually, surpass what she was making before, but she just put one foot in front of the other and decided, okay, I'm ready to make this move. I deserve to love what I do. I've hated it for long enough. I've put in my time, which I do not believe in putting in your time for something you hate. We could all die tomorrow. It's not worth it. But she felt like she was finally ready, and she's on like week 2 of this job and is insanely happy and a little mad at herself that she let so many years go by without even trying to get something that she might like.
Thank you for watching A Wise Way. Subscribe to stay updated, share to pass the knowledge, or view our other videos on the left.